Hey again from the garden, it's Christina from Sunshine and Flora. So I'm finally getting around to sharing with you guys what pumpkins I have planted for all of my fall markets. And I have such a good list this year. So in this video, I want to share with you how I plant my pumpkins. I want to show you how they're growing so far this season and go through my long list of varieties that I am planting for this year. And if I've counted correctly, I have 22 different varieties of pumpkins planted. Now, if you've been following my videos for some time, you know that I do a big end of the season market every year. It's the third week in September. It's called the Made and Found Midwest Market. It's down in Anthon, Iowa, and it's made up of all handmade goods, pickers, home growers. It is just a really great festival, food trucks, live music. It is awesome. Well, this year, it's a 2-day event. So I really need to amp up my inventory. So as you can tell by these pictures of my booth, I sell as many cut flowers as possible, but I also sell pumpkins. Now, I don't sell the big, large jack-o'-lantern pumpkins because you can get those anywhere. And honestly, who wants to walk around with one of those huge pumpkins at a festival? So I sell mini pumpkins and I sell small to medium specialty pumpkins. I try to grow varieties that you can't just get at your local farm stand, so it's something unique that people can get at this specific fall market. Now, the last few years, I have taken hundreds of pumpkins and I literally come home with a handful. So it goes over super well. And this year I kind of have a specific color scheme I'm going for. So I'm gonna share all these with you. But I think first, I want to just put a little video clip up on the screen to show you how I plant my pumpkins. So the area that I plant my pumpkins in, that I have for quite a few years, is a raised bed that I made along the edge of my property. It is 96 feet long, and I tend to space my hills of pumpkins about 4 feet apart, and then they grow out away from the building out into kind of my walking area on top of the cement and the rocks. This raised bed is filled with soil and compost that we have brought in, but each year I make a nice planting area or a hill of composted manure and organic garden soil, and this is what I plant in. And I also amend each planting area with biotone starter fertilizer. I put 5 to 6 seeds per hill, plant them about a ½ an inch deep, and these get watered every single day. I also, the past couple years, have been setting drip line up to this area because the drip irrigation has just helped immensely with these pumpkin vines growing. Hand watering is great, but to get really deep root watering, drip irrigation is the best. So I always set up my drip irrigation and I run it every single morning for about 20 to 30 minutes. All right, so let's go take a look at how these pumpkins are growing. I'm filming this video on June 20th. All of these pumpkins were planted back on May 24th, so they've almost been in the ground a month already. So one of the main planting areas of my garden is this fenced-in garden. It is between my 2 buildings. I have snapdragons, dahlias, strawflower, but over here, well, you can see all the construction going on in the background. Right kind of to the entrance of my garden, I have this trellis. This is the Titan Squash Tunnel from Gardener's Supply, and this is where I plant all my mini pumpkins. They trellis up it wonderfully, and I have a couple weeds going on, but right at the base of each of the legs, you can see I plant a pumpkin, and one of them is starting to vine out, and what I do is I bring it up into the netting, and they will grow all the way up and over the trellis. These mini pumpkins, for some reason, got off to a little bit of a slower start compared to my others. I would like to come in and add a little bit more compost to them, but we've had some rain now and they're growing nicely. So these will vine all the way up and over the trellis. Here's a look from the other side. You can see my pathway that goes into the garden. So you'll enter and walk under the pumpkin trellis. So here's the large bed that's 96 feet long that all of my other pumpkins are growing in. And this is also where my daffodils grow, and those are almost fully died down now. You can see these brown pieces, these are the daffodils that have died back. And now that they're died back, I need to come in and clear out all the grass that is around them. But you can see, here's one hill of pumpkins. They are growing wonderfully. This is popcorn. Here's another one. This is Ritz. All right, so I popped inside to share my list of pumpkins with you guys. One of my contractors showed up and brought his excavator, and he's out there kind of scraping some gravel off the parking lot, bringing some new rock in, and it's really loud now. So I wanted to make sure you guys heard me okay, but I want to go through the list of all of the pumpkin varieties that I'm growing, that are planted, and I'll put pictures up on the screen so that you guys can see what everything looks like. All right, so I'm going to start with the mini pumpkins first. These are the ones that are planted over on that trellis, and I have actually I have 3 varieties on the trellis, and I have one other one that is planted out. Actually, I didn't show you guys this, but over by my potatoes, I had kind of a little open area, and so I just burned a hole in the landscape fabric last year and planted a pumpkin there. So I did that this year. I planted Casparita over there, and the reason I decided to plant that one over there is Casparita for me, well, I'm not sure if it's labeled a bush variety. It doesn't seem to vine as much as the others, and so I have that variety planted randomly in that spot. But the 3 varieties that are on my trellis are Hooligan, Little Pumpkin Man. Both of those varieties I grew last year and they sold wonderfully. Casparita also sold wonderfully. And new to me this year, which is from my favorite pumpkin seed company, the Blue Pumpkin Seed Company. This is where all of my seeds come from. And if you have not checked them out, I will link them down below. They have over 150, maybe close to 200 varieties of pumpkins. They're awesome. Check them out. They're out of Colorado. I have Phantomita. I hope I'm saying that right. This is not a photoshopped photo. This is the pumpkin variety. So I grew 1 hill of that. I can't wait to see what this looks like. It gives that total Halloween vibe. So I just think it's going to be really cool. All right, so all the varieties of the bigger pumpkins, which are small to medium size, I do have a few that maybe get about 18 inches wide, but they're more of a flat variety, and you will see that in the photos. There are no jack-o'-lantern pumpkins. These are all specialty, unique varieties of pumpkins. So the first one, in no particular order, is Barn Dance. I just thought the colorings of this were so unique that I needed to try it. Autumn Frost. I have grown this one before and I didn't have luck with it, but I love how it looks, so I had to try it again. Then I think I planted 2 hills of this, Autumn Crown. And this is a smaller size pumpkin, but it has such a good color and shape that I just love this. Okay, Black Futsu. This was the fastest pumpkin to sell out of my booth last year, and so I had to grow it again. Cherryman, which is a little similar to Black Futsu but bigger in size. Valencio, which is a really nice white pumpkin. Then Snowball, which is, probably about this size. This is the most productive pumpkin that I have ever grown. You do not need more than 1 hill of pumpkins. And when I'm saying 1 hill, again, I plant 5 to 6 seeds per hill and then thin it from there, maybe down to 3. This is the most productive pumpkin that I have ever grown. I also saw last year that Laura from Garden Answer planted this, and she got 80 or 90 pumpkins from her hill. I bet I had 60 or 70 from mine. Crazy pumpkin. If you want to grow 1 hill of pumpkins and get a ton of really nice, cute white pumpkins, long stems, Snowball is your variety. All right, the next 2 are kind of the same color scheme, but just 2 different sizes. I have Mocha and Hot Chocolate. Hot Chocolate is one that I have grown before, and it sold really, really well, so I wanted to try Mocha this year. Sandman, which is a really pretty cream-colored pumpkin. That's new to me. Dark Night. This one also gives those Halloween vibes. Real excited to see how this turns out. Tandy. This is an upright pumpkin, and I just love the shape of it, so I wanted to try it for that aspect. All right, the next one is Ritz, which I showed you out there was one of the first hills that I showed you how it was growing, looking really good. wagon wheel. This is one that gets a little bigger. So when you plant these bigger pumpkins, and these aren't huge, but they're just, you know, a little bigger, maybe 18 inches wide, you will not get as many pumpkins per vine. But I just really wanted to try some of these. And these I may not take to the market. These may be ones that I use for decorating out front of my business. So wagon wheel, foggy morning, gray ghost, which I planted 2 hills of, popcorn, which is a creamy pale yellow with the bumps, and then glass slipper, which from what I have read can vary in colorings from maybe greens, peaches, all the way to a deep salmon. So those are all the varieties of pumpkins that I'm growing this year. You can see I have a definite color scheme, a couple of Halloweenish ones, but I'm going for more the peaches, salmons, taupes, creams, yellow. I think it's just going to be beautiful. I think the color scheme of my booth is going to be beautiful with all the pops of color, especially in the fall. And when these are ready to harvest, I will definitely do a video for you guys. And of course, I always take you along to that big end of the season market. So actually, at the end of this video, I'm going to link one of those market season videos, the big market. I will link one of those at the end of this video in case you want to check it out. So anyway, hope you're having a wonderful start to your growing season. Comment down below with your favorite pumpkin varieties if you have any. And of course, stay tuned for a lot more. We'll see you soon.